Hi Bible Art Journalers! We're not meeting in July, so I wanted to give you a heads up about what we're doing in August so that you can prepare and participate. I just ran out into my yard and picked some flowers that are blooming right now. I have some flowers off of my tree. I have poppies, which you can't pick other than in your yard, so if you're growing your own, you can pick them. And I have this daylily and some plumbago and some lavender and some flowers off my potato tree, and I even picked some weeds because they're cute. Anyway, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with them. We're going to press them and dry them, and then when we meet in August, we will put them in our Bibles. So let me just clear these aside. And you can see it's very warm today, and I'm going to have to work quickly because they're already wilting. Whoop. So, as you know, we use dictionary pages as our practice pages in our Bible Art Journaling group. And I picked up these dictionaries free at our local thrift store called the Opportunity House Thrift Store because they give the first 5 books free, and then all their other books you just make a donation, whatever you want to give. And so I love that, and so I like to put it to good use. And I have a couple of dictionaries because of using them for practice, and this one is still completely bound and doesn't have anything in it. So I'm going to use it today, and I'm just going to flip to the back. And if you don't have a dictionary, when I was growing up, we used to press flowers in the phone book, but now we rarely get phone books and certainly don't get the big ones like when I was a kid. If you don't have a book that you don't really care about the pages, like this freebie dictionary, you can use any large books. I mean, you can use a smaller book and you can put other books on top to add weight. And you can put paper in between, or parchment, like baking parchment, or wax paper even if you wanted, if you don't want to put the flowers directly on the page. So I'm just going to lay them in here, and you just want to think about, okay, so when it's going to be smashed flat, do I want the side view, or do I want, oops, this is stuck, or do I want to, like this one I think are going to be better in the side view, because I think if I smash them flat open, they would fall apart. They are made up of a bunch of these little tiny pieces. So you just want to leave enough space between so that when I close the book, they're not going to be overlapping. And give them enough paper around them. Oh, I've got some little bugs in here. Give them enough paper around that they have something to absorb the moisture, and that's why if you don't want to ruin your book, you want to use other paper. For the most part, they won't leave a whole lot, but they can stain or leave some color on the pages. So I'm just going to take a section like 1/4 inch and just fold it over and press it flat. And then I'm just going to keep moving on, and you can leave some greenery on if you want, or you can pull the flowers apart. If you want them to be a little flatter, then you're going to kind of do that as you go. I find if you're going to want them smashed flat and open, that it helps to lay the page in the direction that you want the flower to be smushed. And then if you want them closed, you'll do it the opposite direction. For these, I thought I'd try pulling off the individual flowers, because as you can see, they're kind of wilty, and I'm going to try and put them upside down. This is the plumbago. Here's another dictionary that I had put flowers in earlier, so you can see how they dry, and some of them lose their color more than others, and so you just see what you have when you're done and decide what you want to use. So I'm going to be working in Matthew 6. I'm just going to pick some flowers. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them all, but let me just show you more of the ones I pressed. These are some of the lavender. So you all know that what I've been using in my Bible for a long time is Liquitex matte gel medium. And recently Michaels has started carrying the Art Basics clear gesso that most Bible journalers like for prepping their pages. So I'm going to try using a little bit of both to see what I like better for the adhering the flowers. And this is going to go very similar, I think, to the way we do our napkin pages. And so you just need a layer of something to stick the flowers down in, and then you need a layer to seal them, and you want the first layer to dry completely before you do that second one. So I'm going to start with my matte gel medium, and usually I just put this on with a credit card. I'm going to try the brush today just so that I can get a little more accuracy. Let me put something to protect my other pages. This is a first try for me, but I'm going to guess that the matte gel medium, because it has a little thicker consistency, is actually going to get in, like come up around the flowers a little more. So we'll see. And for the most part, I think I will avoid layering too thick with the flowers like over each other. Okay, so there's like half my page with the matte gel medium under the flowers. Now let me grab another brush and we'll put the clear gesso on the top half of the page. And this is very liquidy. The difference between the gel and the liquid, obviously, is this is going to run a lot more if you pour it onto your page. And the flowers are quite brittle, so you're going to handle them gently, and that it does make it nice because like I'm snapping the stems where I don't want them the length. Okay, so my last one, oh, I think I got a little too much. So now I think I'm gonna go ahead and just run the gesso out over the rest of the page, just so that it doesn't, the page has all the same or similar texture. Of course, remember I'm doing my funny trial here, so I'm gonna try and keep the page top half the gesso and the bottom half the matte gel medium. Okay, I'm going to hit this with my heat gun really quick to speed up the process. Slide that out so I don't melt it. Well, one thing's for sure, the thinner gesso is definitely going to dry quicker, but I do see that there's like just more areas where the flowers didn't stick down where I had the gesso versus where I had the matte gel medium. So that thicker medium just may be better for something with this much dimension. While I'm in this in-between stage, I think I'm gonna try and add just a little touch more of greenery. So I dried this little piece of fern, and I think I'm just gonna tuck it in, some little pieces of it in here, dry it again, and then put my top coat on. I thought I'd show you why we don't do this with fresh flowers. If there's moisture in the petals and you adhere it down under a moisture barrier, you can literally have your Bible page start molding. And then if you're doing this heat gun technique like this, if these flowers were still fresh, when I hit them with the heat gun, they're instantly going to wilt and they're not going to hold their shape. The fact that these have all the moisture already out of them, I'm not drying any more moisture out of them with the heat gun. I'm just drying the medium. So no, this won't work with fresh flowers. It takes patience to wait the couple weeks to get them to be completely dry. I'm going to go ahead and add my top coat now, and then we'll kind of compare the difference between the gesso and the matte gel medium, what I think about the feel. So you're going to want to go in the direction of the petals, which when you have overlapping might be a little difficult. Work carefully, slowly, make sure all the little crevices and everything is down and secure. I feel like where the flowers are really thick like this, I need to just add a little extra in all, so it really gets soaked into all those crevices and gets a good seal. Don't worry, remember this is a clear gesso, so even though it comes out white, when it dries, it's completely clear. My last pass is just going to be to get all my brush strokes going in the same direction and go ahead and do my second coat on the rest of the upper half of the page. I like to do 2 coats. I'm going to switch to the matte gel medium for the bottom. So you can see the matte gel medium is much thicker. Get my brush strokes going in the same direction. I got a little piece of plant there. I'm going to get off my brush and then finish up the second half of the page. I keep water on my table, clean water, and when I'm using brushes for the gesso, I always just plop it in the water if I don't have time to run and rinse it out right away, because gesso will clog up your brushes really badly and ruin them. Okay, last set for the heat. Okay, I've heat dried quite a bit. You can see there's definitely areas where I had it thicker, where it's still drying, so it's still white. You know, if you hold the heat gun in one place, you can actually blister your gesso. So I'm gonna give my heat gun and this a rest, and then just trim those little pieces that are kind of hanging over. I wanted you to see that this is kind of what it looks like mid-process, and it's dry to the touch, but those layers underneath. So I dried both the top and underneath page, and I'm gonna let that air dry. I went ahead and used some of this shimmery, the Recollections watercolor gel crayon to give it a little background, and then did my hand lettering with my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. I have to say, as much as I thought that the clear gesso was going to be less able to cover, it did really well, and it didn't tend to build up like this, where here hours later it still is white. I think it will continue to get clear as it continues to dry, but there is a possibility that will just stay that white because it's on so thick. So I'm actually quite impressed with the clear gesso. It feels like this is really solid, and it's keeping it more true to color. I'm pleased with how that turned out, and I think I'll try that again just with the clear gesso rather than the matte gel medium for my next page with flowers. The only other thing I did was added a little bit of shimmer to a couple of the purple and yellow flowers just by kind of touching them with the top of this and then wiping it off with a damp paintbrush.